1987. The Cold War has erupted into open conflict. Across the globe, armies clash and the balance of power teeters on the edge of chaos. In the stormy waters of the North Sea, a new battlefront emerges as the Soviet Navy makes its move. From the east, a powerful Soviet action group, led by the fearsome Kirov-class missile cruiser, is advancing towards the heart of NATO's maritime defenses. Its mission? To break through, disrupt vital shipping lanes and establish dominance over the North Sea. The Soviet fleet, armed with long-range anti-ship missiles and protected by a ring of destroyers and frigates, is a formidable force. Their target? NATO's naval presence, and with it, control of the North Sea. But the North Sea is not a battlefield alone. It is a lifeline of commerce and trade, crowded with civilian vessels. Any conflict here threatens not just military forces, but the lives of countless civilians. For NATO, this is a line that cannot be crossed. Enter USS Missouri, the mightiest warship in the NATO fleet. An Iowa-class battleship bristling with firepower and accompanied by a surface action group of destroyers and cruisers. Her mission? To intercept and eliminate the Soviet threat before it can wreak havoc on the region. This is not just a battle for naval supremacy, it's a race against time. The Missouri must neutralize the Soviet group while avoiding the risk of collateral damage. Civilian casualties are unacceptable, and the eyes of the world are watching. Editor's note: unfortunately, I had some performance issues with the game, and this means that the whole game crashed just before completing the scenario. So unfortunately, I can't quite show you the ending. Hey guys, Stealth here, and welcome to this first self-made scenario. This means that some things in the scenario might not work as I have intended. This is my first attempt at the mission editor, and the triggers that are going to set various effects in motion. The mission at large is very clear. There's a Kirov patrol group, or a Kirov surface action group, coming in somewhere here from the east. Of course, since I set it up, I know where it is. However, what I don't know is whether they get a submarine. I have an LA Flight 1, because I didn't actually set a name. This is just classed as LA Flight 1. A submarine over here, and this asset can be extremely valuable in gathering intelligence, but I've set it to only have a 50% chance to spawn. So if you're playing this scenario again, you might have a different outcome if you don't have the submarine. The same goes for the red side. The red side gets a submarine of their own. And this can mean that the red side has the advantage if they have a sub. The submarines are not contingent on, or not conditions for victory or defeat. So they're just assets that you can use as offensive or passive sensor systems, whatever you want. Anyway, my task force here, the Missouri. The Missouri might look very intimidating, but it is 1987. And while those guns might be very useful for destroying surface targets, or let's say ground targets, I'm not so sure if they're going to be that useful in a confrontation with the Kirov. Because what we have are these Mark 7 guns, which have a range of 21 nautical miles, which means that they're basically outranged by everything else. Harpoons, especially of course those Soviet missiles with a range of 200 something nautical miles, we're going to be in a bit of trouble. I also have with me the Gary, Oliver Hazard Perry. On the other flank we have the Crommelin. And on the back we have Elliot, a Spruance-class destroyer. We have missile cruiser Mississippi. And we have finally the Bellatrix, which is a fleet tender, keeping everything going. It's not a mission critical ship, but I thought it would add a bit of reality to the scenario. Now, time to gather some information, because, as I might have mentioned, there are civilian targets, and those cannot be destroyed. The Missouri has an enormous radar profile, but we are heading towards the enemy, so I'm hoping that that's going to make her profile slightly smaller. What I'm going to do is launch a helo from the Gary. I'm going to use it as an ASW. I will assume that the Soviets also got their helicopter to spawn in. And this means we need to be dropping sonar buoys. We need to be looking for those targets. As for the formation, I am currently about 5 nautical miles ahead of Missouri, and I'm going to change that formation up. I want to have these ships out farther, to make sure that we get information sooner. The problem with that can be that they are not going to be as well protected. They do have their own missile systems that they can use to defend themselves. They have their own standard missile ones. The problem is, if it comes to a missile storm, I would probably want to have assistance from Mississippi. Mississippi has 44 of these standard missiles. Elliott has, well, very little defensive measure, but it can do anti-submarine warfare, and it comes with harpoons. So, yeah, I have no real idea how this scenario is going to work out, but it'll be interesting. That is for sure. Alright, we're going to go actually ahead standard. I am going to have a brief look with the helicopter. I want to see what's up there. Let's see what sort of merchant shipping is out there and how dangerous or not dangerous those are going to be. Look at this thing cresting the waves. I set up a pretty bad sea state, so I'm not sure if it's even safe to fly, let alone launch helicopters. But this Perry here is going to be doing it nonetheless. Look at that. Gorgeous. I do believe the helo is spinning up right about now. Here we go. Alright. Is the Los Angeles not hearing anything yet? That's peculiar. Because there's quite a bit of shipping around, but it might be too noisy in the surrounding area. It might be too loud. Meaning that we simply can't hear much. Let's deploy the towed array. Give me a little bit more information there. Helo is airborne. Come on, let me select the helo. There we go. Alright, so you, my friend, are going to go to, yeah, let's say 6,000 feet. And I want you to have a position just about there. Relatively above Missouri, so that you're going to be able to spot some things. You're going to have to first climb up there. They do have their sonar buoys with them, but I first need to get information about what we're facing. How much are we looking at? How many contacts can we detect, and what are they? Many questions, very few answers, as for right now. A bit later, I've sent my helicopter forward quite a bit. It's also sort of linked up with the submarine right now. And I have detected a couple of very large contacts. I am already at 33 nautical miles, so I am only detecting them on the radar, not visual yet. But the fact that I got this close kind of makes me less likely to identify these guys as hostiles. They probably would have shot me down by now if they were tracking me with their air search radar. That is, if those air search radars are active. This one has been identified as a merchant. There we go. The problem is now, we have a merchant directly between us and whatever is coming in from that strait. So it's not like I can just start sending harpoons and hope that they don't go active as they meet these merchants. This is going to be potentially a problem, because the Russians might not be that interested in holding fire. If they detect me, that is. So let's assume that this guy is a merchant. Can we just ask you what you are? Does not respond. Does... Yeah, there we go. They agreed to comply. Yep, it's merchants. Okay, so we have a couple of merchants identified. Very good. The problem now is... where is that Soviet task force? Where is that Soviet air group? Sorry, Soviet surface group. Let's continue searching. We've detected another contact. 7007. Very large. About 50 nautical miles away from this Sea Sprite. The submarine is still a little bit behind. The Sea Sprite, of course, way faster. It can get anywhere you like. And, well, at the moment, helos don't actually have fuel. So they can just fly there indefinitely. The LA is still very far away, and it is doing 15 knots. You can see it's actually getting quite close to the bottom here. It's only 460 feet, and they're at 445, so they're pretty deep. Let's set them to above the layer, so that maybe they'll be able to pick up this surface group too. But keep in mind, they're behind the merchant group. So it is entirely likely that the submarine's sonar is unable to detect anything because these guys are generating such a massive amount of noise that I simply don't know what else is behind them. Let's have the LA do a direct course. So actually, no, I want to have them due east. So that maybe we can just get by those surface contacts a little faster. And get a bit more information on this thing. Because I have asked it to identify itself. And it did not respond. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a hostile contact. But it is... It is problematic in these situations, because if this is a Russian ship, well, we still have a bunch of hostiles, friendlies, neutrals in the way. The Iowa is going to take, the Missouri is going to take a long time to get here. They will clear this area in 8 hours. So let me fast forward time a bit. ESM has detected a helicopter of unknown make and model. We don't exactly have a clue where it is, because we're all operating under MCON. It is not exactly requesting, or not exactly complying with identification. Maybe the Crommelin, with a brief burst from its air search radar, can figure out what this thing is, and where it is. It's 40 nautical miles out. Okay. You got close, dude. Yeah, they are definitely not responding. Okay. I still have those surface ships here, those merchantmen. We're only 40 nautical miles out from whatever 7007 is. Like, it could line up that this helo went looking for me. All my ships right now are... Yep, there we go. Alright. So we have a Russian Ka-27. Alright. You are not supposed to be here. You are also not my friend. What's the range on these boys? 17 nautical miles, so I can't touch that guy yet. I can't touch it with any of my missiles. Because all the missiles are Standard Missile 1. And that's just not good enough. If I had a Standard Missile 2, I probably would have been able to touch him, but... I think the RIM 7s are also... yeah, 10 nautical miles. So, right now, all I can do is wait for this thing to get into range. And then engage it. I'm going to tell my helo to start dropping sonar buoys. Hopefully, I'll be able to hear things as we are, well, hoping to still get better identification on this. It's still getting a very large radar return. But what surprises me is that it's alone. If this was the Russian surface group, it probably would have had escorts. But seeing as we're quite far away, it is possible, of course, that we're simply not able to detect the escorts yet. 38 nautical miles. I really don't like this thing. I've also found that the game seems to not do very well with stormy sea states. The performance is really taking a hit, and I'm going to report that to the developers, because I think it's something that needs to get fixed. Because, I mean, I'm only at 10 times speed. The way that these scenarios just take a lot of time means that you might not get through a scenario with poor performance as such. And I have found that it does get better if you just maximize the map, because then it doesn't seem to have to generate all those waves and all the effects there. But it's still something that I think does need to get looked at. Now, we are with the LA over here, about 66 nautical miles away from that contact. But because I'm heading bow into it, and I'm still partying with that merchant over there, I probably can't detect it. So, let's turn southeast and see if I can actually start detecting it. Let's go ahead, 1/3. Just gonna listen in. This helo is gonna meet a fairly certain death if it keeps approaching my ground units, my surface ships. It's playing a very dangerous game. We are now in actual trouble. There's an SSN-19 anti-ship missile coming our way. Most likely in a hurry. This thing is, well, 47,000 feet up. And these missiles are ridiculously clever for the time that they were actually used in. Well, supposedly going to get used in. These things work as a sort of a swarm. You have one of these guys, which is operating as the leader. as the spotter, if you will. So one of them is up there. The rest of them, if there are others, are down. And by down, I mean they're surface skimming, sea skimming, just looking for things. Okay, where did that come from, precisely? I'm thinking 7007, but I have to be sure before I start putting weapons into the air. Let's say it's going to be looking at, what, the Mississippi? Yeah, that does kind of line up with 7007. Okay, then. Actually, wait a second. What if it's not the cruiser that's getting attacked? What if it's the frigate? What if it's the Cromlin? Uh-huh. There we go. 7007 is one hostile unit. No, I don't need to set a marker. I just need to erase those things. Thank you very much. There. Okay, so we are now kind of weapons free against that thing. But it's 140 nautical miles out, which is far more than our harpoons can actually travel, I believe. Because our harpoons, the RGM-84, can only do 65 miles. So we are way, way outside of weapons range from this unit. I do have a submarine nearby. The submarine also carries the harpoon. The problem is, if I launch harpoons from a submarine, people are going to know that those missiles came from somewhere. And if they can't see anything, it's probably a submarine. So I'm giving my position away, and with that a very, very critical asset. If I wait for the Mark 48s to get into range, we're talking 20 nautical miles, which might take a while. So that's problematic. Anyway, for now, I want to have these guys rejoin the formation of the Missouri, and we're going to tighten up. Because at this point, the shooting has pretty much started, and I am very concerned that those ships are not facing 1 or 2 missiles, but lots of missiles. So we're going to turtle up. If that transport dies, it would be a bit of a shame, so let's keep that alive as best we can. I don't think Cromlin and Gary are going to be able to get back to the Missouri. Not that the Missouri is really going to offer them a whole lot of safe harbor, but maybe with overlapping CWIS, we might be able to do something. Cromlin, you are now weapons free. Gary, you're weapons free. Go air search. Go surface search. Because we have obviously been made. Damn spotter. Still 30 nautical miles out, so it's just going to sit there watching. Damn thing. This is going to be potentially the instant demise of Cromlin. There you go, it's going down to 8,200 feet, so it's definitely still up there. High above the clouds, which again means that this is the leader. This little thing here is not alone. Cromlin, are you... Oh, you can only do 14 nautical miles because you're in a storm, probably. Sea state's pretty bad. Yeah, we can't do that. Crap. Okay, at least we have our CWIS on the back. So if it comes to that, maybe we can intercept it. I really don't care about the helicopter at this point. All I care about is that missile. And I'm also wondering, was it just one? Or did they launch more? Cromlin should be looking to engage right about now. 19 nautical miles out. Here comes the launcher. As I was saying, the performance still needs work. You're just going to sit there and look pretty, or are you actually going to launch? Thank you. Do it again. Where exactly are you going? Yeah, you're going for the launching ship. That plume is my intercept missile. This thing is now only skimming at 80 feet. It looks like it's pointing down, yet flying straight ahead. I think we did not get it. No, we did not get it. I don't trust this thing one bit. Launch another. Missile away. Come on. Get it. Shit. Did not get it. Flying at 970 knots. Mine is flying at 1900 knots. The fact that you can just throw objects at each other at such incredible speeds and, well, get kind of close, I think is very impressive. We still didn't hit it. Gary might be able to launch as well, but the problem is I don't think the missile's going to get there in time. Still, it would be much preferable over losing my unit. Launch both helos, please. At this point, of course, it's too little too late. There's the Sea Whiz. Yes, we got it! Okay, then. That was, very uncomfortable. And you can see that also cost me a few missiles. That was one missile. And that bastard down there has a whole lot more. So we are likely going to be receiving a few more gifts from him in the very near future. Time to get a little payback on that helicopter. The Kremlin is launching another missile, standing by to shoot down the K-27. The K-27 itself is not exactly a threat. It does carry sonobuoys and it carries a torpedo. And yeah, that's a fairly sizable torpedo at that. It's just, as far as I can tell, mostly a helicopter that is designed to take out submarines. Because the AT-1 is an anti-submarine torpedo, with a range of 2 nautical miles, so the chance of this thing actually hitting me is extremely unlikely. But, as a observation platform, / as a spotter for more missiles, I do find it extremely dangerous. So it has to go. Standard missile is airborne. K-27 is going to get hit in about 10 seconds. There's the chaff. And I think we got spoofed by it. Hello, helicopter. Damn it. Okay. Boom. Now, I am also, as I'm recording this, in blocks of recording, if you will, in touch with the developers, and they're saying that the high sea state is definitely causing the bad performance. So, in this situation, I probably should have gone for a lower sea state and be able to run the game a little smoother. Lesson learned. Are you still going to get surprised by that, or are you actually going to go and hit the helicopter? You're going to get spoofed. Nope, actually you didn't. There you go. That is one dead helicopter. And with that, they lost their radar track. But if they're clever about it, they can just go, huh, yeah, well, that's cute. But I know where you are. And I can just launch more missiles at you. As long as they try not to hit these neutrals, that'd be great. Because they... Oh, there we go again. There we go again. Yeah, fun times. Alright, keep dropping soda buoys, please. Oh crap, there's more than one. Okay, so we had difficulty defeating one. Now we need to defeat 2. This is going to get very, very nerve-wracking. I'm prematurely launching the helos from the Kremlin because if she does not survive, at least I still have her helicopters. If she dies with our helos aboard, that would be a bit of a shame. Because then I can't use them anymore. Come on, helo. Let's get up there. We're going to go to 3,000 feet. And we're going to get a little closer to that contact. It's 38 nautical miles out. I still can't shoot it, but I do want to have a better identification at it. And its potential friends. Little bit of a back-end story here. What you can do in this game, or at least in this build that I've gotten from the developers, is just change the sea state. And I'm currently at sea state 8. You can see that there is lightning. We're just going to turn that off. ambient noise is 126 decibels, so it's very difficult for things to get detected. And if I just reduce the sea state, all of a sudden the ambient noise drops. And hopefully performance also improves. This hopefully will make the game a little bit more fluent, as we are still working on intercepting those missiles. And by the way, the Russians have already sent another helicopter my way. They're not waiting around, this is the next spotter. Unfortunately, at the moment, my helicopter and theirs can pretty much wave at each other as they're flying by. We cannot really do much else. I am getting new radar contacts at this point. And let's kindly request that they tell me who they are. Does not respond. Does not respond. That seems to be very much in line with what that could be. Okay, you're still operating 5 knots. Range 63 nautical miles. Okay. We're going to go ahead standard. I'm going to try and sort of get in front of that battle group, which does come with its own risks, but also opportunities to launch torpedoes at them. As for these missiles, you can see it's currently a very nice and calm sea state. Isn't that beautiful? These helicopters are going to have a potentially very, very good look at how Kremlin's going to get destroyed by those 2 missiles. Wait a second. We just lost the second one. See, this one's the spotter right now. This one just dived down a sea skimming, and I can't see it anymore. Crap. Missouri. At the moment, I don't believe you've been detected. Or at least not potentially identified as hostile, or those missiles would be coming for you. But right now, they're definitely coming for Kremlin. I think we're getting... What, we're getting beamed by that radar? Because I'm flying under MCON. Yep, here we go. It's dipping down. It's targeting Mississippi. Okay. Problematic. Missouri, take your whole task force. Start heading north. Urgent. This way, hopefully we can get more of those CWIS systems into range. Mississippi. Yeah, weapons tight's fine. I can consider myself lucky that I'm not the one launching those SSN-19s, because I would just start sending lots more against them. Yeah, there we go. We got 15 nautical miles, so Mississippi actually gets involved now. These things appear to be looking for targets. If they're looking for a big target, they will find one in the form of the Missouri. So I'm very much hopeful that they will not find Missouri. Although, arguably, losing Missouri wouldn't be that bad. Seeing as... you've intercepted a track. Beautiful. Well done, Kremlin. Losing the Missouri isn't that much of a loss. Although, for the scenario, it would be bad. Missed. The SSN-19 is still coming. There's 2 more Standard missiles, 3 more in the air. Come on. Stop this thing. Kremlin launched. Starting to see some, I think, 76 mil. Yep, Kremlin's engaging. I do have a decent amount of Standard missiles left, so I should be able to intercept this thing. This thing is just undeterred. I mean, look at him go. Between all the flags, all the missiles, it does not care. It's still going. Birds away. Mississippi launches again. I heard that I did identify something as a target. As a warship. Stop the damn missile! CWIS. CWIS. Oh. That's really bad news for Mississippi, because those are enormous weapons. And this is where I'm going to leave you for this first part. Mississippi has been badly hit. If I lose this ship, that means I also lose a lot of interceptors, because she still had a lot of missiles left. And don't worry, so did the Soviets. So the more interceptors I get, the better. Unfortunately, might not be with the Mississippi. So join me next time, as we're going to be continuing the scenario. See you there.